Hello, and welcome to episode number 89 of the TEW 28 Challenge Run. This is going to be the final show of the year 2020. This is the SmackDown branded Christmas Chaos pay-per-view for week 4, December 2020. And yeah, without any further ado, let's just jump straight into the show. The mysterious 1 week build match for the kickoff show between Bayley and Shayna Baszler happens. And it's Bayley who defeats Shayna Baszler in 17:27 with a headlock driver. The match gets a 60. I'm assuming that's because of the injury. And that better not be a long one. I swear to God, game. Yeah, 17 has been disrupted by injury, yeah. So Bayley gets a 64, 67 for Shayna, and Shayna damaged her neck. Hopefully she's good to go for the Rumble, because fucking hell. I've already written out the whole Women's Rumble and done all the editing side for it. And I really don't want to have to restart it and do it all over again. Oh, I forgot to put an opening segment in. Or an opening video package. So we jump straight into an 82 rated opening match. Same rating as Otis versus Johnny Gargano is Keith Lee and Roman Reigns in the special match. And both men start off respectful. They end up getting very aggressive towards the end because they know only one man can get the job done, and only one man can get that title shot at the Royal Rumble. And it's the big dog who puts Keith Lee down with a spear in 16:51 to advance to Royal Rumble. Keith Lee gets a 72 and Roman Reigns gets an 85. After the match, Roman's celebrating his win, and Keith Lee's struggling to get to his feet. And he's looking pissed because he knows he let himself down here tonight. This was his first chance to sniff Universal Championship gold, and he's blown it on the big stage. Maybe to one of the greatest talents of the current generation, but he blew it. And Roman looks at him, he's like, "Come on, guy, come on, Keith." He does the fist pump from Survivor Series to sort of signify, yeah, you kicked my ass. It's so respectful. And Keith Lee shoves him to the floor out of anger and just walks off out of the ring, and Roman's like, okay, I see how it is. 74, that's actually really good, because they told me this match had happened a lot of times, and that was making me worried that this match was going to bomb, but it doesn't. Ziggler and Roode, they defend the tag team titles against the Usos in 15:49. Dolph Ziggler pins Jey Uso with a super kick. 71 for Bobby Roode, 72 for Dolph Ziggler, and a 73 for both the Usos. Now I'm hoping I can squeeze one more match out of this for next Friday on SmackDown, because my writing I had for it dictates that there should be another match this Friday on SmackDown, so I hope I can get away with that one without not getting dinged as well. But yeah, this match is alright for tonight, and yeah, Ziggler and Roode, they retain the titles thanks to Johnny Nese and Riddick Moss related shenanigans. This gets an 8. I'm so fucking happy this did good. I was going to make this a technical masterclass match, but I then realised that I've never once done that in the game, and it hasn't been dinged for something silly. Because I think you have to have a very specific crowd or something. It has to be built up well. It has to have a lot of things that fall in line. And I just decided, I know for a fact if I put it here just as it is, it's going to ding me. So I'll just do a normal match. I can trust them to have a bang normal match, and they do. Match goes 22 minutes and 48 seconds, and Chad Gable pins Daniel Bryan clean with a Chaos Theory. Gable gets a 70, Daniel Bryan gets a 91, and the sky's the limit in 2021 for Chad Gable by the looks of things. He beats Bryan here tonight, and he's going to be in that tag match with Shelton Benjamin against Bryan and Apollo for the spots in the Rumble this Friday on the first SmackDown of 2021. And Chad Gable with a huge win here tonight. We then cut backstage. Malcolm Bivens and Adam Pearce are in their office as they see. Bivens is like, see, look how great the show's going. Me and you would make a great team. Pearce is like, I mean, you didn't really book anything on the show. It was all me. The stuff you've booked on SmackDown, yeah, you booked that on SmackDown last week, and you booked obviously the Bianca tag match and the match for next week. But you're doing a good job, so maybe next time we can work on getting a good show together, me and you. That's when AJ Styles walks into the door, and he's flanked by, you guessed it, we're doing this, the former Obakanu of the Hoss House, now Omos, AJ Styles' bodyguard. It's like, you think this is a good show when, Vivens, you think you're some sort of awesome, super duper assistant to the general manager. You didn't even book your most phenomenal talent, the greatest talent of this generation, the greatest wrestler of the modern era. You didn't even book him on this pay-per-view. It's your last show of the year. No place for AJ Styles. That is a crime. And he's like, okay, how can I help you, AJ? He's like, well, I just came here to vent about how I'm not on this pay-per-view. And of course, you can see Pierce and Bivens both sort of looking up at Omos. But they don't actually mention him. He just stands there. And he's like, well, I want to prove to you that I'm the best talent on SmackDown. I saw you talk on last week about how you're going to put Daniel Bryan and you're going to put Apollo Crews in this match and Chad Gable and John Benjamin to earn their spot in the Royal Rumble. I don't want these spots to go by and not be on that show as well. I need to be in that Rumble because I'm the phenomenal AJ Styles. God damn it. 5 years ago, I made my debut in the Rumble. This year, I'm going to win the whole thing. Book me in a match for SmackDown, a Royal Rumble qualifier right now. I don't care who it's against. It'll be against the next person who walks through that door, he says. He turns around, just stares at the door for a couple of seconds, then the door flies open. And his expression changes because in walks Braun Strowman. He goes, breathing all heavily like Braun Strowman does. And then Pierce, he's like, that's it then, I guess, on SmackDown. AJ Styles, Braun Strowman, the winner of that match, goes to the Royal Rumble. And then AJ sort of looks, he's like, I don't know if I want to face Braun. And he sort of backs away, but then he looks up at Omos, and suddenly his expression changes, and he's like, I'll see you Friday, big man. And then AJ and Omos leave. He's never addressed, he's never even mentioned by name. They both look at him, they know he's there, but like when he first brought him in real life, we're doing the whole, he's just standing in the background, and no one's going to talk about him thing. But it's AJ and Braun next week on SmackDown, as well as the tag match, and this week the segment where we would announce 2 out of 3 falls, Uso versus Roode and Ziggler, also on SmackDown. Tag team titles to wrap up that feud. So it's turning into quite a stacked show, the first show of 2021 for SmackDown. Speaking of stacked, this was high spots match. It's a 74, the debut match of Dominik Mysterio teaming with his father Ray against Death from Above's Grandma Leak and Lindsay Dorado. And they actually lose. And here's the very specific story I'm going to tell here. I didn't mind in real life the Dominik and Seth match because obviously it was like him fighting from underneath to get revenge on his dad or whatever. But I think the easy story to tell with Dominik if he's not going to go to NXT is how inexperienced he actually is. So the story of this match is Rey Mysterio he thought he'd lost it when he was losing. He lost to Chad Gable, but now he's actually in here. He's taken it to both members of Death from Above. But obviously he's teaming with his son, and his son's going to get in over his head. And he goes for a frog splash, and he misses. And Malik rolls out of the way of the frog splash from Dominik, and just pins him straight up 1, 2, 3 off of a missed frog splash. So it's not like Death from Above beat Ray and Dominik. It was specifically Dominik's inexperience and just excitement to be teaming with his dad, I guess, is what ended up costing him. So the long-term story was going to be, if Ray and Dominik stay together, they need to try and get him more and more experience and more comfortable in the ring. So obviously, if that's the story I'm going to tell, first match, he has to lose. 50 for Dom, 77 for Ray, 60 for Lindsay, and a 67 for Metalik. But a big win for Metalik and Dorado here on pay-per-view here tonight. And then just a post-match segment, Ray gets his son up. It's like, you'll get him next time, son. You did great. You were really good in there, but you just need a little bit more experience. It's fine, son, but we're going to make a great team, and I'm proud of you. Gives him a hug, and we cut to commercial. 78 rated match. Apollo Crews defeats Bobby Lashley in 14-18 by pinfall with a standing moonsault to win the United States Championship. 68 for Apollo and a 76 for Lashley. Why did this do so good? Bobby Lashley has a gimmick that is getting stale. Okay, I need to fix that. But Apollo Crews, clean as a sheet, beats Bobby Lashley 1, 2, 3 with a standing moonsault to win the US title. So maybe leaving VIP Nation was a blessing in disguise for Apollo. Because now, for his first time in his WWE career, He struck gold, baby, in the form of the United States Championship. Gorilla with Dakota and Raquel ahead of their tag team title match. And she's like, focus, right. We held these championships for months earlier on this year. Now it's our time to get them back. We may have had a blip when we lost Trish and Lita, but now we're getting them back and we're going to reclaim this division. 2021 will be our year. Raquel. And then Dakota's music hits and she walks out. Raquel lingers behind, but Garza is there with a rose, and he hands her a rose. Says good luck. Gives her a wink and walks off. And then Raquel sort of just sits there looking at the rose. In Gorilla, Dakota sticks her little head back through the curtain and she's like, come on! And then she's like, oh yeah, she snaps herself back into the zone, drops the rose on the floor, walks out for the match. It gets a 74 because my women's division is on fucking fire right now. EO 2 belts, pops over to SmackDown, and she keeps hold of both her belts because she retains the women's tag team titles here. EO and Kairi beat Dakota and Raquel when EO pins. No, apparently submits over Cloverleaf, but no pins over Moonsault to retain the women's tag team titles for her and Kairi. A 65 for Kairi, 76 for EO, 50 for Raquel, and a 64 for Dakota. And again, I don't want to go into the whole rant about Liv again, but this is what's happening now. I've changed my champions. The belt is on, if not Charlotte or Asuka, one of the top 3 women it could possibly be on to get that rating up. Liv, she was a good champion, but as the old saying goes, the title doesn't make the guy makes the title. The title made Liv Morgan. EO is making the titles. Here is the most important segment of the show. Even more so than most of the matches. Kayla Braxton, we cut back to Kayla, and she's outside Roman's locker, and she's like, I'm waiting to get a word with the new number 1 contender. As it currently stands, he'll renew his feud with King Corbin at the Royal Rumble over the Universal Championship, but that could change if Mustafa Ali wins in the main event tonight. Let's quickly catch a word with Roman Reigns. And Keith Lee walks by, and he's got a towel, he's like washing himself off, he's got a bottle of water, just cooling himself down after his match. He's like, is Roman in there? Is this Roman's locker room? And Kay's like, yeah, I'm actually going to catch a word for him. And he's like, I need to see him too, because I need to apologise for my actions. Like, I don't want him to think that I shoved him down as an act of disrespect, because I was just frustrated with myself that I couldn't win here tonight. And it was just, my emotions got the better of me. I've got nothing against him. I respect him. I wish him the best of luck at the Royal Rumble. I plan to win the Royal Rumble, and then the Royal Rumble match now I know I'm free. But I would just want to let Roman know there's no hard feelings, and he was the better man tonight. And she's like, okay, very, very, very mature review, Keith. She knocks on the door. She's like, Roman, it's Kayla Braxton. We're here for a word. Knocks on the door again. Roman. Knocks on the door again. Roman. No answer. Finally, Keith decides to step aside Kayla, and he opens the door. And he goes, Roman? And then Kayla and Keith's expressions change, because they're in front of their eyes. Roman Reigns is in a bloody mess. And Kayla starts screaming, we need a doctor, we need help, somebody, anybody. And Kayla and Keith are both in shock. When just in the background, this is the sort of thing that I hate playing this game for, because I don't like bringing attention to it. But it would just be the sort of thing where in the background you'd see nothing to do with this segment, so don't get any ideas, but just for a completely unrelated reason, we just see Paul Heyman walking around down the hallway because he's here for some reason. But I have to bring attention to the fact that he's here because you can't see what's going on, but he wouldn't be mentioned at all. It would just be one of those things where, like, if you look, when they had like Bray Wyatt's puppets in the background backstage, like nobody ever mentioned them. They were just there if you spotted them, but just off in the distance you'd see Paul Heyman's here. He's waddling down past, and like people go, "Hey, look, that was Paul Heyman." But there was a reason I put him there, so that's why I've had to put him in the segment and mention it. 69 nice, which also kind of overachieved, especially considering I had to keep Sasha Banks strong, because in 12 minutes and 3 seconds we have a new champion. Because there was a goal to get Ember Moon the championship before WrestleMania, and this seemed to be the best place to do so. So she actually puts a blip in Sasha's title reign, and beats her in 12 minutes and 3 seconds with an eclipse. 59 for Ember, 68 for Sasha. Ember Moon is the SmackDown Women's Champion heading into 2021. Cool. Speaking of goals, any eagle-eyed people who were keeping an eye on the goals in the description probably could have guessed how the two title matches on this show were going. But in 17-15, Mustafa Ali defeats King Corbin with an 0-5-4 to win the Universal title. Ali gets a 75, Corbin an 81, and yeah, he's avenged the King for destroying his super duper hacker room, and Mustafa Ali is on top of the world. Done. Dun, 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 dun. The Beast is here. And he comes out with Paul Heyman. He says, Mustafa Ali, I do not mean to any disrespect. You just won the Universal Championship, and congratulations to you. I don't mean to steal this moment from you, but this would be the best time, because I have something to say. And you're going on to face Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. Obviously, whoever attacked him earlier on may have questions for that, but I don't know who that was. It certainly wasn't my client Brock Lesnar, because my client Brock Lesnar, he's already beaten Roman Reigns enough, so you can check one suspect off that list. But that's not why I'm out here, Mustafa Ali. It's because you, of all people, need to be the first person to hear this, because 2021 is the year of the Beast, and at the Royal Rumble, 29 other men, just like last year, my client Brock Lesnar is in that match, and he's going to win that match. And if you're still the champion, Mustafa Ali, come WrestleMania, then you'll have a date with Brock Lesnar. So we end 2021, Ali's in the ring with his title, Brock Lesnar's out, and he's winning. He's not winning, but he claims he's winning, because he's in the Royal Rumble. Last sort of the year. 78 rated show, pretty good actually, considering that main event and that women's title match. Should have main evented with Keith Lee and Roman Reigns, but I was going to do that originally, but I can't because I had to do the angle. But what matters more than what this game says is what you thought of the show. Do know what you thought in the comments below, and I'll see you next time for episode 90, the end of year recap show, before episode 91, Monday Night Raw, first show of the new year. I'll see you then.